From bloody battles for drug trade dominance to territorial disputes and ideological differences, our two most infamous gangs have been at each other's throats for over 6 decades. But it seems that things are starting to settle down. Or are they? In this video, we'll explore the origins of their conflict, the reasons for their rivalry, and the current state of their relationship. It all began in California after World War II, when a group of daredevil veterans who shared a love for motorcycles and thrill-seeking decided to form a gang. And so, in 1948, the Hells Angels were born. Over time, their influence grew, and they ventured into illegal activities like drug trafficking, extortion, and prostitution. By the 1960s, the Hells Angels had become one of the most powerful criminal gangs in the country. On the other hand, the Outlaws originated in Illinois in 1959, when a group of pissed-off bastards of Bloomington members broke away due to dissatisfaction with the group's direction. Like their counterparts, the Outlaws grew rapidly and established chapters across the US, Canada, and Europe. During the first few years of each group's existence, they were both too caught up in their own illegal activities to bother with each other. However, in the 1970s, tensions rose as the two factions fought for control over the Midwest drug trade. This struggle for dominance was fueled by Sonny Barger, the legendary leader of the Hells Angels, who saw the Outlaws as a significant threat to their position as the top criminal organization. Barger was determined to eliminate the Outlaws, and that's when things got really heated. In response, the Outlaws decided to establish chapters in Hells Angels territory and began to aggressively expand their operations, often leading to violent clashes between the two groups. The animosity between them continued to escalate over the years, with both sides engaging in acts of violence and revenge. One of the most infamous incidents occurred in 1984, when a gang of outlaws ambushed and killed 4 members of the Hells Angels outside a club in Connecticut. This event triggered a wave of retaliation attacks between the two groups, resulting in a rise in the body count. As you may have known, those two gangs were heavily involved in criminal activities. However, what really fueled their animosity towards each other was their overlapping illicit businesses. They often found themselves competing for resources and profits, which only added fuel to the fire. Another factor that contributed to the tension between the two groups was their different organizational structures and cultural beliefs. For example, the Hells Angels were known for their strict hierarchy and centralized leadership. They had a set of regulations and conduct standards that all members had to follow. On the other hand, the Outlaws were more decentralized, giving local chapters more independence and freedom. Subcultures within the outlaw motorcycle community also clashed for power and control. This only added to the hostility between the Hells Angels and the Outlaws, as both groups saw themselves as the dominant force in the subculture. Despite their differences, both gangs shared a strong dedication to the outlaw biker lifestyle. They had a sense of solidarity and camaraderie due to their shared identity as outcasts and rebels. But now, there are signs of a possible shift in the dynamics of this long-standing conflict. Recent rumors and reports suggest that there might be a reconciliation between the Hells Angels and the Outlaws. High-level representatives from both factions have been in talks since December, indicating a potential ceasefire or even a peace agreement. This development has shocked lovers of motorcycle culture and the history of the one-percenter world. For such a long time, these two clubs have been at each other's throats, and reconciliation seemed unlikely. However, if the conversations go well, it might herald a fundamental shift in the dynamics of the MC world, with long-lasting effects. One interesting aspect of this potential reconciliation is the territorial significance. The Hells Angels have had a presence in Michigan, but not in Detroit proper. However, in the last 4 years, at least 1 or 2 Hells Angels chapters have emerged in Michigan. The Outlaws, on the other hand, have avoided visiting Detroit, which was once their worldwide headquarters, due to the Outlaws' stronghold in the area. In conclusion, the Hells Angels and the Outlaws have been locked in a violent conflict for decades, but recent reports indicate a possible ceasefire and reconciliation between the two factions. While their differences and territorial disputes have fueled their animosity, There are also shared aspects of their outlaw biker lifestyle that unite them. The outcome of these negotiations and the potential shift in dynamics within the MC world are still uncertain, but it's an intriguing development that could shape up the future of these notorious biker gangs.